This is Lauren Alexander, and you're listening to the Groove Lab podcast. Hey, I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for tuning in. This is a podcast all about the people who make up the music industry. Today, I've got Canadian artist Manny Blu. He is a country musician based out of Nashville, and he's got a new EP out called New Ink. And I'm excited because his introduction into the music industry is pretty interesting. It actually started out with him being a professional MMA fighter. So I am excited to hear all about that journey. So let's get him on the phone. Okay, so you've got kind of an interesting story. Your career path went from being an MMA fighter to performing country music. And I would just love to hear about that and what it was like for you.
Well, I grew up playing hockey with all my buddies and things like that. And after I figured out that I probably won't go as far as everybody else, I had a buddy who was doing karate and got me into MMA. We went to a first UFC event, and I thought it was super cool, so I ended up inquiring on how to begin an MMA career. So after 4 years of training, I had my first fight and tore my quad, which I thankfully won, but I ended up tearing my quad in the process, and that takes some time off. And wanted to find a new skill or something to keep me busy and occupied while I was injured. And guitar ended up being that after I saw B.B. King playing Thrill Is On. And once I started getting really into it, and I got a guitar teacher. I had been singing a little bit, so it was really cool to be able to start learning chords and be able to accompany myself a little bit. And all my buddies would come back home from their hockey seasons and have a whole playlist of country songs that they liked, and wanted to hear me play while we were, hanging out in the summer outdoors, having a couple of beers, and we're like, hey, you play guitar and sing, like, can you play us like some of these songs that we love? And so I ended up learning a bunch of country songs and became a country artist, kind of an accident. I originally, my idea was to be a kind of blues guy, and then as things started progressing, I got into country, and that ended up happening pretty quick, and here we are.
Wow. So what was your timeline with that? Like, you got injured, and then you picked up the guitar and found out you were pretty good. What was your timeline?
That's a good question. I stopped MMA. So my fight was in 2013.
Okay.
And so after that, till about Christmas, I was still into it, just trying to recover. And then around January, February, I had played, for some friends, and they loved it. And I said, wow, I think this is cool. This is quite a fun feeling to have people want to hear you sing and stuff like that. So, I would say around 2014 is when I kind of started the very early process of actually learning how to sing healthily, and doing all the warm-up stuff and singing on pitch and things like that, as well as still trying to figure out how to play guitar and sing at the same time. So that took a little while, and then after about a year of that, I started writing a little bit, trying to write, and had some demos. I think my vocals kind of took off a little quicker than my guitar playing did at that point. And I was lucky enough to get in touch with some publishers in Nashville that pitched me some songs, and they set up the recording process, and then we recorded "Leave It Like It Is" back in 2018.
Wow. So how did you get to Nashville? Because you're not from Nashville. You're not from the area at all.
Right. Well, I had met some contacts in Canada who somebody knew somebody in Nashville, and they said, "Hey, go out there and go meet with this publisher and see what kind of songs you want to sing and what you want to record." They were very, very nice with me and took a lot of time to help me through that process and organize the studio and get me with a producer and the studio band. And I had done that Leave It Like It Is EP in 2 shots. I did it like 4 songs in June, and then went home and came back and did 3 more songs in July. And in that time, met my now manager, Nathan, who was running artist development company, and said, "Hey, we can work together and we can help you out, but it's a lot easier if you're down here doing it." And so I had 1 more contracted show back home. And so the week, that was a Thursday in August, and early September, the following week, I was in Nashville.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it a weird transition or a hard transition?
At first a little bit, because I didn't really know many people down here. And so I would go out to some networking events with Nathan, and but after a while he's like, "Hey man, I have a family. I can't be out here drinking beer with you every night. So I need to find you a drinking buddy that you can do that with." And he ended up hooking me up with my now drummer, Joey.
Nice.
And we started off, going for beers and hanging out and having a friendship that way. And then when we got the rest of the band put together, we started rehearsing, and it's kind of just been that ever since. He brought our guitar player up because they were in a band together that ended up breaking up, I think about 2 weeks before I actually came down to Nashville. I actually made the move. And so it was really fun to have 2 guys that know each other really well, and I became really good friends with, which are the 2 still the I guess the longest remaining guys in my band. And we're still super close, and they're some of my best friends here in Nashville.
That's awesome. Well, let's talk about your latest project, your EP, New Ink.
Yes.
Tell me about making that.
That was a lot of fun because I kind of was starting to understand really what it is that I wanted to do as far as my music, and the types of songs I was singing with my buddies was all the top 40 hits, that whatever they were listening to on playlists and stuff. So I didn't know much else, and that's why that first EP sounds the way it does. Fast forward about 9 months in Nashville and getting to know that there's so many different colors to country, and there's so many different influences that you can infuse together to create your sound. And falling in love with blues from the beginning was definitely something that I wanted, and something that I wanted to have in my songs. And by nature, my musicians are pretty loud, and I love it. And so I wanted to make an album that kind of really fits what it is that we do on stage. Because I love the songs on stage more, at a certain point more than the actual recordings. I just thought that there was a little more energy, a little more character in them. Yeah. And I said I wanted to make an album that takes in all those sounds. And plus, I think too, having a band. The first time I was just making an EP based on songs that I liked and thought I wanted to sing. But when you got, when I received demos and there's certain parts and certain drum things or guitar fills or solos and stuff like that, where I now can put some sort of, bass to or sound to those songs, because I know the guy that I have and what we could do and what we could pull off and kind of where the natural instincts go. So it was a lot of fun to start that process. I mean, that all happened over a year ago and was recorded a year ago. And we were hoping to maybe have a chance to release this EP earlier this year. With COVID and everything kind of delayed some things, but I'm glad that we held on to it as long as we did and found the right way to release them, because it's a group of songs that I really like, and I'm really proud of, and I couldn't wait to get them out. But it would not mean anything if we didn't put them out the right way. So
For sure.
I mean, I'm very fortunate to have my team, be so strong and know what they're doing in a way where it's like I'm just making songs and want everything out right away. But that's not always the appropriate way to go about it, or put songs out for them to have the most impact. So we found a good time to do it, and a good way and a good strategy. And now I'm really glad that everything's out and everybody can stream the whole thing from song 1 to song 5.
Yeah. Well, it's great. You've also got some very impressive songwriters on your EP. Josh Osborne, Rhett Akins.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, what was it like working with them?
Well, unfortunately, I didn't actually get to work with them. I heard the songs and fell in love with the songs right away. And I get a couple of batches sent in of different types of songs. And as soon as I go, wow, okay, here's a list of songs that I kind of want to take a deeper dive into, and get the lyrics and really read them and go through it and listen to the song and go through the lyrics and make sure it's something that I really connect with. Only then do I get to see who wrote the song, the songs. And we got these songs from Smack, which is Shane McAnally's publishing house. So we were able to get those because we were working with Aaron Estes, who's the producer of it, and also a really good songwriter in his own right. It was pretty unbelievable to receive the lyrics and see those 3 names on top of that song. Josh Osborne, Rhett Akins, and Ross Copperman are pretty notable songwriters here, and don't know how that song came across my email, but I definitely didn't ask questions and just took it.
That's awesome. That's very cool. Well, thank you so much for being on my podcast. For everyone listening at home, you got to go check out Manny Blu's brand new EP, New Ink, available everywhere now.
Thanks so much for listening to the Groove Lab podcast. Y'all stay groovy.
You guys know I'm a newbie at podcasting. There's so much that goes into it. But luckily, I found Anchor, the easiest way to podcast. Not only do they have the tools to help you record and edit, but they also help with distribution. So your voice can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. But the best part is, it's free. Everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Make your voice heard. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hey, thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I've only got a couple more episodes left this year, which is so crazy. I really hope that you guys are enjoying this as much as I am. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm having fun. So thank you guys for being along for the ride. Be sure to share this episode with your friends, and I'll see you back here next week for a brand new episode. Stay groovy.